Hey there, I'm Anna, and welcome to TalkEasy English. This is your cozy little corner where we listen, speak, smile, and grow, one story at a time. You know that moment when you walk into a place you've been 100 times, but this time everything feels different? It's a coffee shop. Cozy, familiar, the smell of roasted beans in the air. But today, you're not just here for caffeine. You're here to speak English. And suddenly, your brain goes quiet. What do I say? What if they talk too fast? What if I freeze? Yeah, I've been there. Actually, I was exactly there on a rainy Tuesday in Brooklyn. I just moved to New York and I told myself, come on, Anna, you've practiced this 1,000 times. You can do it. But when the barista looked up and smiled, I smiled back and forgot every English word I knew. We both laughed, and I pointed at a muffin. That was my lunch. But here's what I learned that day. English isn't about perfection, it's about connection. So today, I want to walk you through that same coffee shop moment. We'll break it down, we'll practice it, and we'll laugh a little, because speaking a new language is messy and beautiful and very, very human. Hi, can I get a medium latte with oat milk?
Sure, for here or to go.
To go, please? Oh, and no whipped cream.
Got it. That'll be $4.75.
Here you go.
Thanks. Your latte will be ready soon.
Simple, right? But inside that tiny conversation, we used 5 powerful phrases that you can take anywhere. Can I get for here or to go? To go, please, no whipped cream, and got it. And don't worry, we'll practice each one together. I'll say it first. Then you repeat. No rush, no pressure, just like friends. Ready? Let's do this. Together. So let me guess. When you imagine yourself ordering coffee in English, you think you need to sound perfect, like one of those smooth-talking actors in a Hollywood movie. Clear voice, no hesitation, full sentence, maybe even a joke at the end. Yeah, I used to think that too. Here's what I imagined. Good morning. I'd like a double shot espresso with oat milk, extra hot, no foam, and if possible, in a biodegradable cup. Sounds fancy, right? But in real life, most native speakers don't even talk like that. So let's flip the script. What do you actually need to say to get your coffee and feel good doing it? Imagine this. You're in line, it's early, you're still half asleep. You step up and say, hey, can I get a latte with oat milk? To go. That's it. Quick. Simple. Natural. Here's the thing. Fluency isn't about long sentences. It's about the right words at the right moment with confidence. And sometimes confidence is just being okay with short and simple. Let's break it down for a second. Can I get is one of the most common polite ways to order anything. Way more natural than, I would like to kindly request a medium beverage. Unless you're at a royal tea party, don't say that. Now think about this. Have you ever made English harder than it needs to be? Do you sometimes freeze because you're trying to make your grammar perfect? You're not alone. Most learners think they need accuracy. But what they really need is access. Access to real words, real moments, real people. So let me ask you, what's one English sentence you use all the time, but overthink every time you say it? Think about it, and don't worry, we're going to simplify it together. But first, let's try something different. Let's practice a few short, useful sentences that actually work. No fluff, no fear, just phrases that do their job. We'll go one by one, then we'll build something real out of them. Are you ready? Okay, time for the good stuff. Let's build your go-to coffee shop script. Not just something to memorize, but something you can use. Because let's be honest, when you're in line, your brain isn't thinking, what's the best verb tense right now? It's thinking, please let me survive this interaction without looking confused. So here's what we're going to do. I'll give you a simple, reliable script, something that works in 99% of coffee shops. Then we'll break it down, and after that, we'll make it yours. But first, picture this. You're in line. one person ahead of you. You already know what you want, and you're actually ready. The barista smiles and says, "Hi there," and here's what you say. "Hi, can I get a medium latte with oat milk?" "To go, please." "Oh, and no whipped cream." "Thanks." That's it. 4 lines. That's all you need. And here's the magic. You can change just one part, and the whole thing still works. Try this. "Can I get a large iced Americano?" Or, "Can I get a small cappuccino for here?" Same structure, same rhythm, just your drink, your style, your moment. Let's pause here for a second. Have you noticed how natural this sounds? There's no, "I would like to purchase a beverage at your establishment." Real English isn't about fancy, it's about flow. So now, let's practice together. Say it with me, line by line. I'll go first, then you repeat, and I'll leave space for you, because this is where the confidence starts. Ready? "Hi, can I get a medium latte with oat milk?" "Hi, can I get a medium latte with oat milk?" "To go, please." "To go, please." "Oh, and no whipped cream." "Oh, and no whipped cream." "Thanks." "Thanks." Nice, you sounded great. Yes, I heard you. Now, quick question. What's your coffee order? Say it out loud, right now. Even if it's something wild like a double shot hazelnut frappuccino with extra drizzle. Go ahead. Say it with pride. This is your language now. And don't worry, we're not done. In the next part, we'll go deeper. We'll talk about how to sound more natural, like someone who actually lives in English. Because word choice is one thing, but tone? Tone is where the magic happens. Let's talk about sounding natural. Because here's a little secret. Fluent doesn't mean perfect, it means comfortable. You ever hear someone say, "Could you please kindly provide me with a cup of coffee?" Technically correct. But does anyone actually say that in real life? Nope, not even in England. Now, let's take a closer look at what people do say. Because when you walk into a coffee shop, or any place, really, what makes you sound fluent isn't your grammar, it's your rhythm, your word choice, your tone. Here's one of the most powerful phrases in spoken English. Can I get? It's casual, polite, and super common. Let me show you how flexible it is. Can I get a latte? Can I get a receipt? Can I get a table by the window? Can I get a refund? Same phrase, different world. Now here's another one. I'm good, thanks. Sounds simple, right? But it's how you answer when someone offers you something like, "Do you want a bag?" "No, I'm good, thanks." Or, "Need help with that?" "I'm good." It's not about saying no flatly, it's about saying it kindly. Natural English lives in those small choices. Here's a fun one. Listen closely. No worries. You'll hear this everywhere in the US, Australia, and more. Someone bumps into you? No worries. Barista says, "Sorry for the wait." You smile and say, "No worries." It's like saying, "It's fine," but friendlier. So now I want you to think, which of these do you already use? And which ones feel brand new? Let's practice a few together. I'll say it. You repeat it with me. Ready? Can I get a small cappuccino? Can I get a small cappuccino? No worries. No worries. I'm good, thanks. I'm good, thanks. That's the sound of someone who belongs in the conversation. You don't need to say more than that. You just need to say it like you mean it. Let's go one step deeper. Coming up, we'll talk about what happens when you don't understand. You know that moment when the barista says something you didn't catch? You panic, smile, and just nod like everything's fine? Yeah, we're going to fix that. Let's be honest. This is the part no one wants to talk about. You're at the counter, you said your order just fine. And then the barista says something you didn't expect. And it comes out fast. Like, "All right, do you want to make that a double? Or keep it as is with the house blend?" And your brain goes, "What?" You blink, smile politely, and say, "Yes." Even though you have no idea what you just agreed to, now you're walking away with a $7 coffee that tastes like rocket fuel. Sound familiar? Yeah, I've done that too. But here's the truth, not understanding isn't failure. It's actually where the real learning begins. So here's the mindset shift. You don't need to pretend you understand everything. You just need the right phrases to pause the moment and take control. Let me show you what I mean. Try this one. Sorry, could you say that again? Simple, respectful, totally normal. Or this one. I'm still learning English. Can you repeat that more slowly? You know what usually happens when you say that? People smile, they slow down, and they help you. Because being honest is a strength, not a weakness. Here's another go-to phrase. What does that mean? You don't need to guess or fake it. You just ask. That's how real conversations work. Let's put it into a little scene. Barista says, "Okay, and do you want a topper on that?" You're not sure what topper means, so you respond, "Sorry, I'm not sure. What's a topper?" They explain, "Oh, it's just cinnamon or chocolate powder on top." You smile and say, "Ah, got it. No topper, thanks." Boom. Now you didn't just survive the moment, you learned something. So let me ask you, what's one word you've heard in English but didn't understand and were too shy to ask? Think about it. Next time, try asking. That one question could give you 10 new answers. And you know what's next, right? Sometimes the problem isn't just not understanding, it's realizing you said the wrong thing. That moment when you want to fix your order, but your brain is frozen, we'll talk about that next. Because confidence isn't about getting it right the first time. It's about knowing how to recover gracefully. Okay, deep breath. Let's talk about one of the scariest moments in any conversation. You just said something in English, and 1 second later, you realize it was wrong. Maybe you ordered the wrong drink. Maybe you said yes when you meant no. Or maybe, my personal favorite, you said hot latte. And now they're handing you an iced tea. Yeah, it happens. So what do? Most people panic, they freeze, they smile, and then they walk away with the wrong order and a broken heart. But guess what? You don't have to freeze. You just need a few simple phrases to fix it on the spot without panic. Let's look at the situation. You meant to say no sugar, but you forgot. Now the barista is adding syrup. You jump in and say, "Oh, actually, no sugar, please." Just like that. No apology, no drama, just a correction. Or maybe you said iced when you meant hot. Happens all the time. You can say, "Sorry, I meant hot, not iced." Clear, calm. You're not a robot. You're a person. People change their minds. People misspeak. And native speakers make these mistakes too. Every single day. Let me give you another one. Can I change that? It's magic, because it works for anything. Can I change that to oat milk? Can I change it to a small size? Can I change it to for here, not to go? You don't have to explain your whole life story. You just ask to change it and move on. Here's the mindset shift. Making a mistake is not a stop sign. It's a speed bump, and you can keep driving. So let me ask you, what's one time you said the wrong thing in English and didn't fix it? What would you say differently now? Hold that thought, because we're going to come back to it at the end of this episode. But next, we're going to talk about how to sound confident, even when you don't feel confident at all. Because your words matter. But your voice? Your voice tells the story. Let me ask you something. Have you ever said something in English? And even though the words were correct, you still didn't sound confident? Like your voice came out too fast or too quiet or just awkward? I've been there too. In fact, I remember one time I was ordering at a diner and the waitress asked, "Toast or biscuit?" I froze, and what came out of my mouth was, "Yes." Yeah, I panicked and said yes to a multiple choice question. But here's the thing, it wasn't my grammar that failed, it was my nerves. So let's talk about that. Because confidence isn't about knowing every word, it's about how you carry the words you do know. Here's one simple trick. Slow down your first sentence. That's it. Just the first one. Because the first few seconds are where your brain screams, "You're gonna mess up." But after that, your brain calms down. Your body catches up. You find your rhythm. Try this. "Hi, can I get a small coffee, please?" Now try saying it like you're relaxed. "Hi, can I get a small coffee, please?" Hear the difference? Same sentence, different energy. Another tip, breathe before you speak. Sounds silly, I know, but think about it. When you're nervous, you hold your breath. Your voice goes tight. Your words stumble. One deep breath can reset everything. Here's one more secret. Smile while you talk. You don't need to grin like a game show host, but just a little smile changes your tone. It softens it. Makes you sound friendly. And here's the cool part. Even if your English isn't perfect, people will want to talk to you. So let me ask you, how do you sound when you're nervous in English? Fast? Flat? Faint? Next time, try changing just one thing, your speed, your breath, or your smile. And if you're wondering, what if I still say it wrong, even when I do sound confident? Don't worry, because in the next part, I'll show you why perfect English might be the wrong goal. And how aiming for real and human can take you way further than aiming for fluent and flawless. You know what stops more people from speaking English than grammar, vocabulary, or pronunciation? It's the fear of not being perfect. We wait for the perfect sentence, the perfect accent, the perfect moment. But while we wait, life keeps moving. And opportunities, they pass us by. I remember a student of mine, her name was Maria. She had a beautiful vocabulary. She could write like a poet. But when it came to speaking, she froze. Why? Because she didn't want to sound wrong. She once told me, "If I can't say it right, I'd rather not say it at all." And my heart broke a little, so I asked her, "What if I told you good enough is actually better than perfect?" She laughed like I was joking, but I meant it. Here's why. When you aim for perfection, you hesitate. But when you aim for connection, you speak. You smile. You try. You grow. Let's look at this practically. You could say, "Excuse me, may I kindly request a cappuccino without dairy or foam, preferably to go?" Or you could say, "Can I get a cappuccino, no milk, no foam to go?" Guess what? Both work, but only one feels like real life. Now here's something most learners never hear. Native speakers make mistakes all the time. They forget words, they mix things up, they say like 10 times in one sentence. And yet they keep talking. Why? Because communication is not about being perfect. It's about being understood. So let me ask you, have you been holding back because you're afraid of not sounding good enough? And what would change if you gave yourself permission to be imperfect, but brave? Here's a simple challenge. Next time you speak English, don't ask yourself, "Was that correct?" Ask, "Did they understand me?" If the answer is yes, you won. And if the answer is no, you just found something new to learn. That's a win too. But we're not done yet. Because next, I want you to take all of this and try it in real life. Not in your head, not in your notes. Out there. I'm going to give you a little mission. And yes, it involves coffee. All right, you've listened, you've practiced, you've laughed with me, and maybe even stumbled through a few lines. But now, it's time for the real world. Let's take everything we've talked about and put it to the test. Not tomorrow, not next month, this week. Here's your mission. Go to a coffee shop, any place you like. It could be a chain, a local spot, even a cafe in your grocery store. Walk up to the counter and speak one full sentence in English. That's it. Not perfect, not fancy, just real. Something like, "Hi, can I get a cappuccino to go, please?" Or, "No whipped cream, thanks." Or even just, "Medium latte, oat milk." Keep it simple, keep it honest. Because this isn't just about coffee, it's about courage. And here's the twist. Don't practice it 100 times before you go. Don't write it down on your hand. Trust yourself. You know more than you think. Now, will it be perfect? Probably not. Will you feel a little nervous? Probably yes. But that moment, that tiny exchange, is where your English becomes alive. That's where it moves from your head to your voice. So let me ask you, where will you go? What will you say? And when it's done, will you come back here and tell me what happened? Leave a comment. Tell me what you ordered, or tell me what went wrong. I'd love to hear both, because progress doesn't always look like victory. Sometimes it looks like effort. But wait, before we wrap this up, we've got one more step to take. Let's bring everything together, one last practice, one final moment, so you leave today feeling strong. Okay, one last time. Let's bring it all together. You've listened, you've learned, and now let's speak. Out loud, with rhythm, with feeling, like it's real, because it is. Here's your final scene. You're in line. There are two people ahead of you. You already know what you want. You take a breath, you smile, you step forward and say, "Hi, can I get a medium latte with oat milk?" To go, please. No whipped cream, thanks. Thanks. That's it, you just did it, from start to finish. No pausing to translate, no fear of getting it wrong, just your voice, clear and real. Now let's try a variation. Say this with me. Hi, can I get a small cappuccino? Hi, can I get a small cappuccino? For here, please. For here, please. Can I change that to oat milk? Can I change that to oat milk? Thanks so much. Thanks so much. Perfect? Who cares? Present? Absolutely. And that's what matters. You've just spoken through fear. You've practiced with your ears, your mouth, and your heart, and that's how language becomes yours. So, let me ask you this. What phrase from today are you going to try in the real world? Just one. Say it now. Whisper it. Or shout it if you want. Either way, you've earned this moment. And if this episode helped you, you know what I'd love? Tell me in the comments. What's your real-world English moment this week? Big or small, I'll be reading. And hey, we're just getting started. Because next time, we're going to dive into a new, everyday situation. With new phrases, new stories, and even more ways to turn your English into something alive. So, here we are. You made it all the way through, from nerves and silence, to ordering coffee with your own voice. That's not a small thing. That's huge. And maybe, just maybe, you're starting to feel it. That quiet shift inside, where English doesn't feel like something you memorize. It feels like something you live. So what now? Well, don't just close this video and move on. Take one phrase, just one. Write it on a sticky note. Say it out loud while brushing your teeth. Use it in real life, this week. And then come back here. Tell me how it went. Was it awkward? Amazing? Did the barista smile? Did you? I'd love to hear your story. Because this isn't just my podcast. It's ours. It's where we speak real English, like real humans, with real hearts. If this episode helped you, even just a little, don't forget to subscribe. Leave a comment. And share this with someone who's trying to find their voice too. And next time, we're heading to a place that makes everyone nervous, even native speakers. Want a hint? It involves a clipboard, a waiting room, and a little white coat. Yep, we're going to the doctor's office. It'll be fun, I promise. So until then, keep listening, keep speaking, and most of all, keep showing up. Because the world needs your voice. And I'm so glad you're using it.